The morning began like any other. A quiet riverside walk, a routine so ordinary it barely registered as significant. But within hours, that routine would unravel into one of the most haunting disappearances in recent memory. On January 27, 2023, Nicola Bulley vanished without a trace, leaving behind a phone still connected to a work call, a dog wandering alone, and a mystery that would grip the world. Nicola was a 45-year-old mother of two, living a seemingly peaceful life in a small village. That morning, she dropped her children off at school, just as she always did. Then she took her dog, Willow, for a walk along a familiar path by the river Wire. It was a place she knew well, a place she visited almost daily. Nothing about that morning suggested anything unusual. At 9:01 a.m., Nicola joined a work conference call on her phone. The call remained connected for nearly an hour. But something strange happened during that time. Around 9:20 a.m., another dog walker found Willow running loose near a bench. Nicola's phone was still there, placed neatly on the ground, still connected to the call. But Nicola herself was gone. There were no signs of struggle. No witnesses reported anything suspicious. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. As the hours passed and Nicola failed to return home, concern quickly turned into alarm. A massive search operation was launched, involving police, divers, drones, and volunteers. The river Wire became the focal point. Authorities initially suggested that Nicola may have slipped and fallen into the water. But that explanation didn't sit right with many people. The area where her phone was found wasn't considered particularly dangerous. Locals described it as calm and familiar. Nicola was also an experienced dog walker who knew the terrain. There were no clear footprints, no disturbed ground, nothing to indicate a fall. And then there was the phone. Why would someone fall into a river and leave their phone carefully placed on a bench? It raised more questions than answers. As the investigation deepened, public interest exploded. Social media became flooded with theories, speculation, and amateur sleuthing. People from across the world began dissecting every detail of Nicola's last known movements. If you're drawn to real-life mysteries like this, cases where the truth feels just out of reach, make sure you're subscribed to Shadow Files. Because stories like this aren't just about what happened. They're about what might never be fully explained. Back at the river, search teams continued their efforts. Days turned into weeks. Divers combed the water repeatedly, but initially, they found nothing. This only fueled further doubt about the theory that Nicola had fallen in. Meanwhile, investigators began looking into Nicola's personal life. They revealed that she had been dealing with some personal struggles, including issues related to alcohol and the onset of menopause. This information sparked controversy. Many felt it was irrelevant and inappropriate to disclose. But it also introduced another layer to the case. Could Nicola have been in a vulnerable state that morning? Or was this a distraction from something more sinister? Witnesses who had been in the area that morning were interviewed. Several people reported seeing Nicola before she disappeared, but none saw anything unusual. No screams, no commotion, no signs of distress. One detail stood out. Willow, her dog, was dry when found. If Nicola had fallen into the river, would the dog not have followed or shown signs of distress? It's a small detail, but in cases like this, small details matter. The police maintained their position. They believed Nicola had entered the water. But the lack of physical evidence kept the public skeptical. Then came a turning point. On February 19th, more than 3 weeks after Nicola disappeared, a body was found in the river Wire, about a mile downstream from where she was last seen. The discovery was made by members of the public, not by police search teams. The following day, authorities confirmed it was Nicola Bulley. The official cause of death was determined to be drowning. There were no signs of third-party involvement. The case, in the eyes of law enforcement, was closed. But for many, the mystery remained. How did trained search teams miss the body for weeks, only for it to be found later by civilians? Was it simply a matter of difficult river conditions, or was something overlooked? The river itself became a subject of intense scrutiny. Experts explain that bodies in water can behave unpredictably. They can become trapped underwater, only to resurface later due to changes in temperature and decomposition. It's a grim reality, but one that could explain the delay. Still, the questions lingered. In the absence of clear answers, theories began to take shape. The first and most widely accepted theory is the simplest one. Nicola slipped, fell into the river, and drowned. It's a tragic accident, one that could happen to anyone. The calm appearance of the water can be deceptive. Cold temperatures can cause shock, making it difficult to swim or call for help. But simplicity doesn't always satisfy. Another theory suggests the possibility of foul play. Some believe Nicola may have been targeted, perhaps by someone familiar with her routine. The lack of witnesses and the suddenness of her disappearance make this theory intriguing, but there is no concrete evidence to support it. Then there's the theory that Nicola may have chosen to disappear. That she walked away from her life intentionally. But this idea struggles against the facts. Her phone was left behind. Her dog was left behind. And there was no indication she had planned to leave. It's a theory that feels more like fiction than reality. A more nuanced perspective considers a combination of factors. Perhaps Nicola experienced a medical episode. Something sudden and disorienting. In that state, she may have wandered into the river without realizing the danger. It's speculative, but it attempts to bridge the gap between accident and mystery. What makes this case so compelling is not just what we know, but what we don't. The timeline is tight, the location is familiar, and yet the outcome feels inexplicable. There's also the human element. A family left behind, searching for answers. A community shaken by the realization that something so ordinary can turn so tragic. And a world watching, trying to make sense of it all. Cases like this remind us how fragile routine can be. How a simple walk can become a defining moment. And how, even in an age of constant surveillance and connectivity, someone can still vanish without explanation. Before we reach the end of this story, take a moment to share your thoughts. What do you think really happened to Nicola Bulley? Was it a tragic accident, or is there something we're still missing? Drop your theory in the comments. Your perspective might add a piece to the puzzle. In the end, the official conclusion may never satisfy everyone. The evidence points one way, but the unanswered questions pull in another. And maybe that's what keeps this case alive. Not the certainty, but the doubt. Not the answers, but the silence. Nicola Bulley's disappearance is more than a case file. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary moments can hold unexpected darkness. That mysteries don't always come with clear endings. And that sometimes, the truth is as elusive as the person at the center of it. If this story stayed with you, if it made you question, think, or even feel unsettled, then you're exactly where you need to be. Because here on Shadow Files, we don't just tell stories. We explore the shadows they leave behind. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with us for the next case that refuses to be forgotten. Because some mysteries don't end. They just wait to be uncovered.